Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. This is Allison from Micah, the Manager of Partner Training, Engagement, and Support. We appreciate you joining us today. We have with us 3 students from U of M who are part of the End the Cycle group, and they are going to be running the webinar for us. Just a few housekeeping items. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. I will be watching it, and we will be answering the applicable questions at the end. Additionally, you can find a copy of their presentation also attached to this webinar. We will be sending out this video and the slides after, along with a survey. So if you could fill that out, that'd be really helpful to us, because we want to make sure that we're providing content that is helpful to all of you. With that all being said, we're going to start now, and I'm going to hand it off to Rija Awan from U of M, who will be starting our presentation.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about End the Cycle, which is a student organization at the University of Michigan. So first off, I just want to introduce all of us. My name is Rija Awan. I am the president of End the Cycle, and I'm a sophomore studying neuroscience and education for empowerment.
Hi, I'm Karma. I'm a sophomore studying business administration and a minor in political science.
I'm Fatima. I'm also a sophomore and I'm studying public health.
So we kind of just want to set the stage first for why this organization even exists. So the idea of this organization started developing around this time last year, right before we got sent home because of Corona. I entered my 10 a.m. anthropology class, and I was thinking that we were going to learn about evolution and Homo sapiens, which was not my favorite topic at the time. But my professor felt that it was more important to change the class structure to focus on race and socioeconomic issues in Washtenaw County. And she pulled up this specific slide. So this is courtesy of Dr. Stuckey at the University of Michigan. And it stuck with me for months. So it basically talks about Washtenaw County and that it's the 8th most socioeconomically segregated county in Michigan. It's the bottom 8% in upward mobility, top 3 in income inequality, among the worst in Michigan. The median income for residents for white people is $68,000, for Hispanics $45,000, and for Black people $36,000. And 39% of this county is at the poverty or ALICE level. And I think this stood out to us because as college freshmen, we thought that Washtenaw County just meant Ann Arbor and our little college town, but clearly it's not. We were living in this college bubble, and we have been ignoring communities around us. So the idea of this organization spurred from this realization that if we were able to receive such a great education and resources at Michigan, how come students 2 miles away from us are not? And why is there this huge gap that is being ignored? And so this led us to research more into homelessness and socioeconomic disparity in Washtenaw County, which our vice presidents Karma and Fatima are going to go into. I actually have to hop off right now for class, but I do hope you guys enjoy our presentation and thank you for your time. So I'm going to pass this now off to Fatima.
Okay, so just a couple of more stats about how homelessness is related to impacts on education specifically. So these stats right here on this slide really hit home for us, and seeing that homeless children are more likely to repeat a grade, drop out of school was something that we really wanted to have an impact on. So education and homelessness, again, there's a big correlation between lack of good education and eventual homelessness for adults. And in addition to that, students experiencing homelessness do not perform as well academically as their house counterparts. So this is something that we really wanted to change, and we really wanted to have an impact on. And yeah. Karma.
Yep. So moving on to kind of the issue that we identified is the educational equity issue. So there's a lot of inequity that, as the statistics show, occur in Washtenaw County excessively. And so in kind of identifying what educational equity or inequity is, we kind of wanted to differentiate between equality and equity, and we did so by looking at this definition that says Equality refers to having the same resources and opportunities, and equity requires an unequal distribution of resources in the hope that sustained equity will temporarily favor and promote more equal educational opportunities for students. And again, this is the definition we used of equity and what we kind of base our organization on. And kind of looking at the statistics of inequity today, we can look to the US Department of Education, these statistics showing the average NAEP reading score, and you can generally see that students on free lunch have an indicator of high poverty associated with free lunch. There's a clear distinction between the different income groups in this graph and how they perform, specifically with reading in this slide. And then in this slide, same with math. So this transcends multiple subjects and can be deduced to showing how education disparities occur overall in all of these groups. So you can see some groups on the top, especially the students who are not participating or not eligible for free lunch. Higher income students are able to have higher average scores here. And we also can see inequity, not just by class or by eligibility for free lunch, but also by race. And here you can see the clear gaps in achievement by race. So it's also important to note, achievement by race, and white and Asian students based on this graph achieve better scores on average, both in reading and writing over all of the years presented in this graph from 1980s. And Black and Hispanic students fall behind consistently. And this shows the cyclical inequity, which creates a gap between the different children from a young age, but yeah. And then here is just access to courses and access to more rigorous courses. So in this graph, you can see the difference between all high schools and high schools with high Black and Latino student enrollment. So all high schools predominantly could have white high school students, and they have access to higher rigorous math and science courses. And then kind of looking at, continuously from a young age to college completion, you can see that there's a differentiation between high poverty households and lower poverty households, in fact. And college completion, by looking at the right side graphic, you can see how important college completion is in median earnings going forward. So we can see that earning a college degree and completing college can significantly impact your potential salary, and thus the low completion rates of college amongst high poverty households contributes to a perpetual gap and perpetual inequity. And then here is academic achievement for homeless students. So we've been talking about economically disadvantaged, but now we can see a distinct disparity for homeless students achieving, around less, like 10 points less than the profession levels of economically disadvantaged students overall. So there's already low proficiency scores, but homelessness can even create more of a distinction, and experiencing homelessness can cause great damage on students' academic achievement. Yeah, so given this, given all of this research, I'll pass it back to Fatima.
Yeah, so upon doing all of this research, thank you, Karma, for sharing all of those stats. A few of us friends decided to address this issue and create this organization in which we strive to bridge the gap in educational equity for students in Michigan, and create this organization called End the Cycle. So we named it End the Cycle because we want to end the cycle of inequity, which is still prevalent for homeless students experiencing housing instability and students of low socioeconomic status. So just an overview of what we do before we go into a little bit more detail is we provide fully online, remote, and free programming for students, tutoring services mainly. So with that, I can introduce a couple of our board members. As you can see, there's a total of 8 members on our board, and we're all studying a variety of different things, which really allows us to have diverse perspectives in our team. So our first goal is educational support. So we provide online tutoring and mentorship. So through the means of after-school tutoring, standardized test prep, and college application mentorship. So the tutoring is for all grade levels, kindergarten through 12, and the standardized test prep, mainly for high school students, but also recently we have started doing GED, so for adults as well. And we also have college application mentorship. So, you know, if students need help applying to college with college essays, Common App, FAFSA, things like that, we can provide help with all of those. And the idea is to alleviate the pressures of online school, provide like more of a one-on-one relationship rather than bigger classroom settings, which are already difficult in the online format these days. So our program logistics, what happens is there's a simple sign-up form under the Students tab on our website, which will be shown on the next few slides. And either the adult, or if the child is under 18, then the parents sign up for the student. And we have weekly signups sent via email to all the students. And this weekly sign up, which we will see in the later slides, lists the type of tutor, what time and date that they're available, and students can basically just click on that slot and sign up for it. So it's kind of like office hours, very informal. And then we also provide student progress sheets. These are completely confidential, but they basically just list what lesson the student had that day, and so just for reference for future tutors with that same student, if they need to know about you know, what they've been working on, things like that, then we have these progress sheets, and they're also great for parents to see what their children have been working on. So this slide right here is a screenshot of our website, and so there's a tab up there right next to home, says students. There's student sign up form. It basically just asks for the student's grade level, a little bit of their information, who they're being referred by, and yeah, it's pretty short. There's also a confidentiality agreement required by the university. And then the step 2 is signing up for slots. So this is a screenshot of one of our sample emails that goes out every week to all the students who have signed up for tutoring. And on the right, there is the sign up genius. So as you can see, this example right here, the tutoring's for Monday, March 8th. And then there's the time listed and what tutor is available for that time, as well as what type of tutoring they specialize in. So for example, Madison specializes in K through 12 after school tutoring, all subjects. The student just clicks on the sign up button, submit and sign up down there, and yeah, and they're all ready to go. After they sign up, they get an email from, so on the next slide, we have a screenshot of an email from a tutor to the student. And it just has information for the Zoom link, as well as a link to their progress sheet. So the email does go to the parent and the child, so both of them receive all the information that's needed for the session.
Yeah, so I can talk about kind of the point of view of the tutor. So a lot of people ask how are we able to retain tutors with no pay? And we really emphasize flexibility for our tutors to choose kind of how they want to go about the program and kind of what hours they want per week. But generally, how we've had our tutor logistics go is we've had people apply at the beginning of our school semester, and then they meet with us. So we get to know them after we accept them based on their application. And then we put them through training for Google Classroom training online. So it's about an hour for them to get to know about our organization, who we affiliate with, and some sensitivity training and how to work with our homelessness facing students. And then we have a background check through the University of Michigan and hire rate to ensure the safety of our students. And we have our tutors sign up for available tutoring times via a Google form, and then their available times are put on the sign up genius that was showed earlier. And again, we really stress flexibility and with students' schedules and especially with classes. And we expect that college students, once they sign up for the time that they're available, they get an email of who they're going to be tutoring, and then they create a Zoom event and then invite the parent of the tutee. And after the session, they fill out that student progress report that was talked about earlier. And we try to make sure that that student progress report is not a graded or punitive type assessment, but it just shows how the progress of each session is going, to make sure that we kind of keep up with how students are doing and how often they're meeting with us. So this is an example of a student progress sheet. Obviously, the tutee's name is confidential, but here we can have the tutors' names, what day that they're tutoring, and then the topics discussed. So this tutee has looked at reading quite a bit, and we kind of see what went well and what doesn't go well. And this is emailed again to the parents so they can kind of see, and we can have some remaining comments to relay to the parents through the sheet. And here's a look at some of our valuable tutors. So as you can see, we have tutors from various committees and various majors. So we have someone with some biopsychology experience, someone with a business mindset, a women and gender studies mindset, an anthropology mindset. And we have different committees that they're allowed to join. And each of these tutors are joining different committees, bringing their ideas, and they're able to tutor on different subjects as well because of how diverse their experiences and majors are.
Yeah, so along with our widespread tutoring program, we've also reached out to several organizations throughout Michigan to kind of extend our services and build some more partnerships. So one of those partnerships are with the Washtenaw County Juvenile Court Support Program. And so what we do is we partnered with them and a couple of their students who are part of the juvenile program currently. And what we see is that, you know, students are really unmotivated to go to school currently, especially being online. There's this thing of, you know, I just can't learn if it's online. But what we've seen is with more of like a one-on-one setting, that the students have really benefited and are more motivated to learn. So a general overview of how this works is we have 1 day of math tutoring and 1 day of English tutoring every week. And to provide some consistency, it's one of two of the same tutors who are doing either math or English every week. So the students can kind of build a relationship with their tutor. I am actually one of the tutors for the math. So every Wednesday for 1 hour, we have the first half is kind of a lesson through either Khan Academy or, you know, through interactive like learning lessons such as like Kahoots. So they're kind of interactive strategies for students so that they're more motivated to learn. I can just share like one of my experiences tutoring one of the math sessions. I remember on the first day, you know, all the students had their mics off, their videos off. Nobody wanted to participate, and I was just kind of like, this isn't going to work. You know, the students just aren't interested. But as we started to kind of apply the concepts of math and of these concepts, or as we start to apply them to their personal lives, they start to become more interested. And as we started using more interactive learning strategies, you know, by the second and third lesson, you know, more students were participating, and we could see that they were generally interested in learning the material. So that's some success that we've seen, and it's been very gratifying. So this is just one of the programs. And then on the side, we see there are several other partnerships that we have made, one of them being with Ann Arbor Public Schools. So we've been granted permission to provide this service to one of the largest school districts in Michigan, which has been really great. We've had a lot of students benefit from that. We also have the trial court partnership, which I kind of touched on in the last slide. And then we just extend these orgs to many homeless shelters that are in our backyard here in Ann Arbor. And then also, because of the virtual format, we just really take advantage of the fact that we can pretty much extend our services to anyone who has access to Wi-Fi. So we've kind of branched out all throughout Michigan so far, and been able to help a lot of the students who aren't in our immediate community, but can really benefit from the tutoring.
Yeah, so now I'll be covering kind of beyond the educational support through tutoring. So we have different activities, and as I mentioned earlier, we do have different committees. So one of our goals is to compile and create educational resources. And so that's through the Educational Resources Committee, which works to compile those resources. And it's just an offline, not live version of accessing resources. So it builds on aids for even volunteers so that they can have access to resources to share with students during sessions, but it also is accessible to students through our website. So just different resources compiled. And this committee is also trying to measure the growth and education of our students. So building on that student progress sheet we used earlier, just this committee's focused on anything that can help and provide resources for our students. And currently, this committee is working on creating a summer program to keep students engaged, as well as discussing potentially credit and FAFSA counseling and more life skills for the future. And this is a view of our website. So all the resources that we compile can be found on our website under the resources and question box tab of our website. So as you can see, it has kindergarten through 12th grade resources. And on the side, you can see SAT and ACT, as well as we have GED resources, as many students have requested this. And this is an example of one of our compiled resources sheets and what it would look like. So this is for the GED, and it just provides a comprehensive kind of overview of what the GED is on this first part of the sheet, and then later on provides more resources. But we just wanted to compile a way to get started on the GED and have all of the information in one place to give context to students who are interested in the GED. And additionally, with our resources, we also have a question box on our website. So if students aren't able to join a tutoring session or want to just have any question on homework answered, they just submit a question through this question box, and we'll kind of try to respond between 24 to 48 hours with any aid that we can offer and solutions and explanations. And again, this is kind of moving forward to the Educational Resources Committee's working on a summer program right now. Hopefully it will keep students engaged both academically and socially throughout the summer, as this year's been hard to do both virtually. But it'll be mostly elementary and middle schoolers from mid-June to mid-August. And we hope to have a theme per week and have academically and socially stimulated activities. So one day social, one day academic, to keep it balanced. And more information will be exposed on our website when we have more plans solidified.
Okay, so our third goal is advocating for underserved students and promoting our mission through social media and PR and outreach. So what this committee does is they're basically in charge of all of our social media. So we have a big presence on Facebook and Instagram, and as well as also updating our website and making sure it looks presentable for anyone who wants to learn more about our organization or help us advocate for our target population. So these bullets are just a couple of specific things that the social media and advocacy committee does. And yeah. Yeah, so this slide has a couple of screenshots of some of our social media as well as our websites. So on the left, we have our Instagram page where we just kind of give event updates and what's going on in our club. And then the second slide, we try to have volunteer spotlights to showcase our appreciation for all of our volunteers and help build a sense of community within the organization. And then on the right, we have a screenshot of our website, a screenshot of one of our newsletters that goes out to all of our volunteers, which is something that also this committee works on. So this right here is one of our features in the local community journal in the Washtenaw County community, one of the community journals. And so we just try and put out as many pieces into local journals and newspapers as possible to try and help spread the word about our organization. And yeah, get a wider base of following to help us advocate for our mission.
Yeah, I can talk about this part. So our next goal is programming educational events and opportunities. So beyond kind of what we've talked about, we want to program in-person events or even virtual events at this point. And we've created a committee called the Workshop and Programming Committee. And this committee works to program learning opportunities for people who face homelessness and poverty. And we hope in the future, when things are able to be in person, we can invite experts and create and gather educational resources at homelessness shelters to kind of have more hands-on learning and more expanded interests of education being presented. So currently, given the virtual setting and all safety rules in mind, we're trying to create an outside project, a garden project, and we're currently creating kind of a mission to affiliate with one of our homeless shelters in Washtenaw County to provide nutritional benefits through growing plants and fruit and vegetables. And there are many mental health benefits and physical benefits of having a garden and consuming those nutritional foods. So we hope to kind of start this project up and have it something that students can maintain at the homeless shelters and on.
Yes, so our final goal or second to last goal is raising funds to aid shelters and organizations. So it's our fundraising and donations committee. And what we work on is basically raising funds both for our own organization, just for like logistical purposes and to really help run our organization, which so far we haven't really needed any funds to run our organization because all of our tutors are volunteers. But we would like to raise some money for our organization to kind of help us better execute a lot of like things like our website. In addition to that, we've also raised money for the communities that we really are advocating for. So this past Thanksgiving, in 4 days, we were actually able to raise over $1,000. We contacted SOS Community Services, asked them what their students and what their families would really benefit from, and we went and bought activities for students' mental health, such as like gingerbread houses, and then also school supplies, because we're really advocating for education. So penmanship books is something that penmanship is something that the students struggled with. So we bought penmanship books, pencils, sharpeners, and all of these resources for about one classroom worth of students. And that was really gratifying to see kind of how many students we were able to impact and how much money we were able to raise just within a span of 4 days. So we're hoping to do another fundraiser similar to that soon. But in addition, we also want to do book drives. A lot of the students in Arbor who go to the university have a lot of used books that go untouched after they've used them. So we'd like to donate these books. So do book drives, other drives, maybe coat drives in the winter, and do a couple of community needs assessments to see where how we can donate to these communities. And then we're also working with the workshop and programming committee, which Karma touched on a little earlier. For the garden project, we want to help them create a budget and apply for some grants to help us fund that project as well. And then our final goal is providing resources for English language learners, especially refugees. So we have actually partnered with a couple of other organizations on campus, including the Michigan Refugee Assistance Program and a sister organization called Revive, to create a refugee and immigrant conversational English program. So what we see is that a lot of refugees and immigrants are second English language learners they have resources to learn English, but it's many times in a very formal environment, and we wanted to create something that was more conversational. So, it's more informal, and it's just a safe space for students to practice their English, which is sometimes really hard to do, and it's very intimidating to do. So our mission is to provide a resource for refugee students to practice English in a relaxed environment, and we want to incorporate a lot of different activities here, interactive activities, and help these students make meaningful relationships with the mentors. This would also be completely online, and it's a program for all students 16 and older, adults included, and the structure of it, we're planning to have bi-weekly meetings for 1 to 1.5 hours for 6 weeks. And so a rundown of what a typical meeting would look like is we would meet in a group and explain the activities for the day, do a couple of icebreakers. If students want to talk, they can. They don't have to in the bigger groups. And then we would go into breakout rooms with 1 to 2 U of M tutors or mentors, along with 1 student. And we would kind of help do the activity for the day and help the students just converse in English. And then finally, we would put the students in breakout rooms with each other, so they kind of can feel even more relaxed and just have conversations with some peers and build a sense of community. And again, just to emphasize that all of the mentors will be going through background checks and sensitivity training before becoming a mentor, just as we do for our regular tutoring program. Yeah, so just as like a summary, so we have a total of 5 committees, the Educational Resources Committee, the Advocacy and Social Media Workshop Programming, Fundraising Donations, and then this Conversational English program. And our tutors are free to work. So our tutors can either just continue with their tutoring, or they can also be a part of these committees with us, with the board members, and help us create the resources, advocate through social media, help with the planning for the workshops that we're planning to build, help with the fundraising. We recognize that all of our tutors have a lot of great skill sets and assets that they can provide for all of these committees. So they really help us in completing all of these missions.
Yeah, and now that we've covered kind of what we have been doing, kind of want to go towards the future. So as you guys know, and as we mentioned, we started in July 2020, and we're really proud of the progress we've made and how much we've done, but we want to keep the momentum going. And so we're trying to ensure that we have goals for the future and have summer plans. So we want to keep students and our volunteers engaged throughout the summer as well. And some of those kind of ideas that we have for the future look like maintaining our tutoring program in the summer. Hopefully, maybe less tutors would be needed at that time, but looking at long-term subjects like ACT, SAT, and GED, those will be especially important in the summer. After we create the garden project, which we're working on right now during the workshop and programming committee, we hope to continue its maintenance and ensure that it's being used and provided resources. And we also hope to have our summer program through the Educational Resources Committee, as well as credit counseling classes and hopefully life skills classes. And soon we also hope to have formal U of M college mentorship programs. So U of M students kind of aiding students and telling them about the college experience. And this will allow a mentorship and a one-on-one ability to ask questions about what college looks like. And any student can just learn so much from their peers, but also people who have experienced more and getting into college. And after that, we hope to gain feedback from our current network of students and volunteers and anyone who can provide feedback and how we can grow and what we can help with. We're continuously having meetings and outreach meetings and trying to see what the community needs, especially since things are shifting from virtual to somewhat of a feeling of normalcy. Just trying to navigate what that shift looks like and what else we can do during this summer and beyond. And here you can kind of see our wonderful social media that we talked about earlier. Our website has all of the relevant info that we talked about here, and you can use the QR code and scan that QR code if you want to look at our website, and I can put these links in the chat soon. But our website has all of our relevant info, and it's the way that we gain our students and our tutors through our website. And our email, just if you want to kind of reach out to us, ask us any questions past this question time after this. You can reach us at endthecycle@um@gmail.com, or specific inquiries at the bottom. You can reach Rija Awan at umish.edu. That's our president that talked earlier. And then our Instagram and Facebook are both endthecycle umish. So please reach out to us, and please look out for updates via those networks as well if you're interested. And now we would like to open up to any questions, so feel free to ask questions. And we have the scan me again here, the QR code for our website, if that's accessible, but we can look at questions that were asked earlier as well.
Yep, we have some questions. First, I want to say that's an impressive program. So thank you guys for seeing the need in the community and creating some way to help, even amid all of your coursework. I had a question. Do you know how many students and tutors you have up to this point?
Yeah, so we have a total of 40 volunteers. And a lot of our students, so I think we've had maybe 30 to 40 students as well total that have that have obtained our services, but a lot of those students, many of them aren't consistent. Many of them, have tutoring for once or twice, and then they haven't stayed with us. And then many of them have been consistent. So I'm not sure exactly how many students we've reached total, but on average, every week we have 10 to 20 students who are obtaining our services.
Thank you. That's a lot. We have some questions from the audience as well. So one person asked if tutors can apply. I'm assuming that all of the tutors are U of M students, correct?
Yeah, at this time, all of our students are U of M students because we're affiliated with the university in our organization.
Okay. And then one of our homeless service providers was asking, she works with families that once they have moved, so they have exited homelessness and are now in some kind of stable housing. She was wondering that since they're in transition, can they still be referred to the resource, or do they need to be experiencing homelessness at the time, like living in a shelter?
Yeah, they do not need to be experiencing homelessness at the time specifically. We just want to reach as many people as possible, so we don't really have any requirements like you have to be homeless at this time to have services. Honestly, anyone in need, anyone who can benefit from the services are welcome to apply or welcome to fill out the form. And yeah.
Okay, so then the next question, which I'm assuming this is a no, because it's asking if families need a referral from a homeless service provider, but I'm guessing not, since they don't need to technically be homeless.
No.
Okay, I'll give everyone a minute to, if you have any more questions, to type them in. If not, I'm not seeing any more come in. I just want to thank you ladies again for your time to help get this information out to the homeless service providers in the state. I hope that people access it. I know I was pretty excited about this resource, and I think that it could really help a lot of our students, especially being virtual. I know that some of the smaller communities don't have as much access to resources as the larger ones.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I can put our website in the chat once again. But thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with all of you guys today. And thank you guys for all of what you guys are doing as well to work with homelessness. We're really new to this, so we'd love to hear any feedback going forward.
All right, well, with that, no more questions came in. I hope everyone has an awesome Monday, and you will receive a follow-up email with all of the resources and a survey. So thank you and have a great Monday.
Thank you.